The one where Joey dates Rachel is the 12th episode of the 8th season of Friends. This is directed by David Schwimmer, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And as is usually the case with Friends, it's a really enjoyable episode. There are 3 parts to the narrative, so I'll talk about each of them in turn. I will talk about Ross very briefly first of all, and then I'll talk about Monica and Chandler, and then I'll talk about Joey and Rachel. Ross has got the opportunity to teach an advanced class, but it's in a different building, and he keeps having to run there, and he's late to class, or he gets there just before the end, and he needs to find a solution to the problem. And I've seen this episode many times, I knew what happened, but I would imagine that it's pretty unpredictable because ultimately what does happen is Ross ends up wearing roller skates, and the final scene in the episode is Ross in the classroom with the roller skates on, and it's really good fun. It's really entertaining. It's nice padding to the main points of the narrative. We then come to Phoebe and Monica and Chandler. At the very start of the episode, we have this brilliant beginning where Monica and Chandler open the door, Phoebe's in their house, and all she says is, "Hey, I got you a present!" And there's this giant blue parcel, and they rip into it, and it's a Miss Pac-Man. What's quite interesting about this is that Monica suggests putting it in the guest bedroom, which is ironic because when Chandler first moved in, and they were talking about what to do with the spare room once Rachel moved out, Chandler suggested a game room. And Monica wasn't for it. And yet here she is, quite excited about putting it in the guest bedroom. So ultimately they got the guest bedroom Monica wanted, and it's a bit of a game room as well. And Chandler stays home all day playing this. He gets rid of all of the top scores, but the names he put for the top scores are all short swear words. And Monica tells him that he has to beat those scores because Ben's coming over. Obviously, Ben will want to play Miss Pac-Man, and he can't see all of these rude words, so Chandler has to try and beat them. It doesn't go according to plan, and I will say there was an easy solution to this. Put it in the guest bedroom. Don't tell Ben about it until you've had time to erase the scores. Unless they'd already told Ben, in which case that wouldn't work. But there wasn't really a rush for this as long as they managed to get it into the guest bedroom. But we have Phoebe trying to do this as well. And Phoebe's just about to get this top score. And she starts swearing. And that's the moment when Ben and Ross come in. And then she panics and hides the names on the board, which is ironic since she's just sworn a lot. And it's fun. I rather enjoyed it. I thought it worked really, really well, and definitely a really entertaining part to the narrative. Then we come to a part that is equally entertaining and emotional. And this is the part that focuses on Joey and Rachel. Joey takes Rachel out on a date because she misses dating, and they have a really nice meal, and they share each other's moves, which I thought was quite interesting. It would not surprise me if anybody watching it picked up some of those tips, picked up some of that advice, and at the end of the night, after Rachel rips into the swan, it's very clear that Joey is feeling something. Also, I'd love to know, what is Rachel eating in the swan? What is the leftover? I can't tell. I've never been able to tell. But she's eating something. And then they go their separate ways for the night to their bedrooms. And Joey obviously feels something. And this is reinforced when he goes on a date and he clearly can't take his mind off of Rachel. So he goes back home. Rachel's watching Kudrow. And she's very scared. And she makes Joey sit with her. And she sits on his lap. And I think it's very clear from Rachel that there's no flirting there. She's not trying to get close with him. She's just seeking the comfort of a friend while watching a scary film. But it's very clear from Joey that he feels something. Maybe he doesn't know quite what he feels. But when Rachel asks him, "Aren't you scared?" referring to the film, he kind of hesitates and then says that he's terrified. And I think he's genuinely terrified of these feelings. Not just because they're for Rachel, but I would say maybe Joey's never felt anything quite intense, regardless of what that feeling is. And, well, I'll say no more than that for now. But it's really sweet, but it's quite emotional because here we have Joey feeling quite confused about some intense emotions, and I imagine very confusing emotions as well. But it's so lovely as well to see this close friendship between Rachel and Joey. And Joey is just easily the biggest sweetheart of all of the friends. He is so sweet, so lovely. Always considering others. For the most part, always considering others. And here we have a great example of that. Personal highlights would be the date with Joey and Rachel. I thought that was great. Ross on the roller skates, of course, and the excitement over Miss Pac-Man, and also, of course, Phoebe swearing at Miss Pac-Man. So, in general, great episode. Nothing about it that doesn't work. The one where Joey dates Rachel is a really delightful episode of Friends.